Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. Porter, and this is just a recap of yesterday's music class on September 14th, 2020. Yesterday in music, we talked a little bit about the notes of the music staff. We talked a little bit about some of the notation, the tas and the tts, ta-ahs and ta-ah-ah-ahs, as well as rests that you might see in our music. And we also started looking a little bit at our next note and notes on the recorder. So this is just going to be a little bit of a recap on those things. There will also be another video that I'll be making right after this that will let you know how to do your first assignment, and we'll also give you a little document that will help if you need a refresher on some of those music notes. All right, so there are many things that you guys can check out in our Recorderland area, but I just want to make sure that you guys are ready to go and that if you have any questions, I can answer them. All right, so we're going to get started, and the first thing I would like to do is I want to show you our lines and spaces on the music staff. So what you're going to see here we go, is you're going to see every good boy does fine. All right, every good boy does fine. And if you notice, you're going to see that these blue dots down here, every single one of them is going to be splitting right through the line. It doesn't sit above the line. It doesn't sit below the line. When your music note splits a line, we're going to call that a lined note. All right, and notice too, it's the dot, it's the ball. The blue balls on every good boy does fine, all right, is going to be where we're looking at to see if it's splitting a line or a space. Now, if we made that blue ball into a ta, we would just add that line right next to that blue ball. All right, so we want to make sure that when we're looking at our ta, that the head of the ta, the round part of that ta, is going to be splitting the line in order to make it the ta sound. All right. So we have E, G, B, D, F, and if you notice that we start at the bottom of our music staff and then we go up. So I want you to repeat it for me. Everyone take out their hand, and you'll notice you have 5 fingers, just like the 5 lines of the music staff. So I always like to start with my pinky being the closest to the floor. All right, and I think of this as my every good boy does fine. It's kind of like my own little cheat sheet. Repeat after me. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. The notes on the lines read, every good boy does fine. Your turn. Yes, repeat after me. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. The notes on the lines read, every good boy does fine. Absolutely. Next part. E, G, B, D, F. E, G, B, D, F. These are the notes on the lines of the treble clef. Yes, 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 yes. Let's put that part together. E, G, B, D, F. E, G, B, D, F. These are the notes on the lines of the treble clef. That's right. So either one of those different ways to remember our every good boy does fine is going to be wonderful. So we're going to do a little self-check real quick. All right, and I'm going to be moving my green ball here, my green dot, and your job is I'm going to place it on one of my lines, and I want you to tell me what it is. All right, so here's a little self-check. What is this guy right here? It is a D. What about that line? Notice again, it's splitting right through it. Let's see. Every good. Good is a G. Yep. What about up here? F. Every good boy does fine. Excellent. What about all the way down here at the bottom? Every good boy does fine. Bottom one, word every, E, right? Last one we haven't done yet. B, every good boy does fine. Nice job. Today we're really going to be taking a look at this B note for the recorder. And then we're going to remember that it's the B because it's every good boy does fine. So we're going to be working on that middle line, B. I do want to show you, though, that there is one other kind of area that you can have a music note, and that's going to be in between the spaces. If you notice, my every good boy is fine, we split the line. But we do have some music notes that go in between the lines and they fill up just the spaces. They don't even touch the lines. And these are going to be our space notes. And I like to think of our space notes as just a rhyming word because we have to use the face to fill up the space. So if you're looking from the bottom and going up, our space notes spell out the word face. F-A-C-E, face. Each one is the name of a space on the treble clef. F-A-C-E, face. Each one is the name of a space. Oh yeah. All right, so we have our lines, which are splitting the lines, and we have our spaces, which are taking up the space. Today, we're really going to be paying more attention, though, to, like I said, that note, the letter B, in every good boy does fine. All right, so what we're going to actually do is we are going to get into our Google Classroom, okay? And it does say sample class here. You're going to go into your music class. You're going to go into your classwork, all right? And in your classwork, I open it up, yours is going to look something like this, all right? And you're going to find your weekly assignments, and you're going to see something called recorder. I think yours is going to say recorder number 1 or recorder practice number 1. And you're going to click on it. And this is going to be your assignment for the week, all right? And I'm going to click on it just because we're going to be using the same one, but really, we'll be talking a little bit more about your assignment in a different video, okay? So what I'm looking at right now is number 1, this first one up here, all right, where my little kind of comment card is. And if you notice, we have lots of different kinds of music notes that you're going to see here. All right, the first one is this guy right here. All right, that is actually a ta, boys and girls. I know normally when we think of tas, we think of them looking like down here, like at number 4. All right, but this ta is just upside down, and that's totally okay. Whenever we use the little note head, like the ball of our music note, if it starts on the 3rd line or higher, our stems or the stick of the music note will go down. But if it's like on the 2nd space, like the A of face, or lower, if that's where the dot or the ball of the music note is, then our stems or our sticks are going to go up. So that's why they look like they're upside down. They're not actually, that's just how we write music when our pitches or our sounds are going to get higher. So we have a lot of tas in this line number 1. Count them for me. Tell me, how many tas do we have in line number 1? We do. We have 11. We have 11 tas. What is this guy right here? Does anyone remember? It is a rest or a silent beat, all right? And this guy over here is brand new, brand new. We are going to call that a whole note. And the way that we would say that whole note is we're going to go ta, ah, ah, ah. All right, I'll try it again. Ta, ah, 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 ah. So if you heard that, how many different beats or how many sounds does it make? Listen one more time. Ta, ah, ah, ah. 4. It gets 4 whole beats. All right. So we have our ta, ah, ah, ah. We have our ta. We have our rest. What is this guy? It's an upside down what? TT. Again, we're used to our TTs looking more like number 6 down here. All right. But this is just an upside down one, and that's okay. Last, when we were all the way back in 3rd grade, we started learning, or actually in second grade, we learned about this guy down here. And this is an upside down ta, ah. Nice job. So we have lots of different types of music notes. All right, lots and lots and lots of different types of music notes. If you notice though, it says playing the note B. And if you notice on number 1, look, it's on the 1, 2, 3, third line up. Every good boy. Look at that. Is there any music note other than the rest, because the rest doesn't get a sound, is there any other music note on that line that is not cutting through that B line? No, every single note, even the ta-ah-ah is cutting through the B line. So every single note on that line is going to be a B. Well, you know what, boys and girls? We just learned we already know 2 ways now to learn how to use our music to play the recorder. Whenever we are doing an assignment, excuse me, whenever we are doing an assignment for recorder, we want to do 2 things before we actually play the sound out of our recorder. The first thing is going to be that we are going to clap the pattern using our tas, tts, ta-ahs, rests, and ta-ah-ah-ahs. All right, so I'm going to clap and say number 1. I want you to clap and say it along with me. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and go into that second part. All right, so go ahead and we're going to clap number 1. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ah, ah, ah. Very nice. If you need to go a little slower than that when you're practicing, that is okay. It's okay if you go ta, 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 ta. It is okay if you go that slow. It's okay if you go slower. And it's okay if you go faster too, but only if you keep your beat steady. We do not want ta 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 ta. It all needs to make sure that you stay with a very steady pulse the whole time. So that's part 1. Part 2 is going to be something called chinning. Now, chinning does need to use your recorder, but we're not playing it yet. What we're going to do is we are going to learn what a B is going to look like on our recorder. Okay, you need your left hand. Remember, recorder is only played with the left hand for right now. Our right hand is going to be used, but it's going to be used on the bottom. So our left hand is going to hold the recorder. I need your thumb and your first finger. That's the only 2 fingers that you need to play the letter B on the recorder. Your thumb is going to go on that back hole, and your first finger is going to go onto the first hole. It's almost like you're pinching the recorder. That is a B. Now when we chin, we're going to put that recorder on our chin. So I can't play it. Can't play. And what we're going to do is instead of saying all of the tas and ta-ah-ahs and rests and tts and everything else, we are going to just say what the note name is that we see. Now for playing the note B, we only have Bs because that's all we've learned so far. And it's going to seem very, very easy to chin that. But when we add A's and G's and we add other letters, it's going to get a little trickier. So I'll have to show you how to do that when we get that far. But for right now, I'm still doing number 1. And instead of saying ta, I'm replacing it with the letter B. And I'm going to say B, B, B. I'm going to say all the B's because my notes are all on the B line. So I'm just transferring what the letter is to what kind of rhythm sound it makes. So number 1 will sound like this during my second step, which is chinning. B, 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 B. And notice I didn't say B, 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 B for the last one. I just said B. I gave it 4 long pulses. I also didn't say my rest out loud this time because we're getting ready to learn how to play. Step number 3 is when you actually play. Now we haven't played a B yet, so again, remember, it's like pinching your recorder. Your first hole's covered and the thumb hole's covered, and we want to blow on it like we're blowing on hot soup. I also like to take my right hand and I hold it at the very bottom. I don't put it over top of these holes. I want to make sure that I put them at the very, very bottom. So my B is going to sound like this. I'm not blowing hard. Yes. I want you to try it now. Go ahead. If you're hearing any of that squeaky stuff, that means your finger is not covered somewhere. If you hear this sound, you're probably blowing too hard, okay? So please, 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 please make sure that you're not blowing too hard and that you're making sure you have the holes covered. Now, we're gonna play this one. You're actually going to think ta, 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 ta. And when you have that T sound, that's how you're going to separate your sounds. We do not want pufferfish. We don't want any of that. We want it to sound like this. And I'm doing that by going t, 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 t with my sound. All right? So let's go ahead and try number one. And we're going to try it with that T sound. And when we get to the ta-ah, we want it to sound very nice and long. And you have to think of that 4 count in your head. We do not want it to sound like a wave. This is what we do not want. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We do not want that. We just want one nice long sound. Let's try number one together. Here we go. 1, 2, nice and slowly. How'd you do? All right, let's try it one more time, just a little bit slower. 1, 2, here we go. There we go. Make sure you go ahead and practice number one. And number two is going to actually be your homework for this week. All right, we'll be talking again about that homework here in just a little bit. Next week, we do not have music because we have an in-service for the teachers. But I do want you to know that when we come back, if you are looking ahead, we will be practicing a new note A next time we have music class. And that is going to be having not just one, but 2 fingers. And if you see at the new note A, it does not rest on the B line, but it takes up the spaces in between the good and the boy lines, the G and the B lines. Or if you want to think of it a different way, it's our second space in face, F-A-C-E, face. So again, that's for next time, just a little sneak peek ahead, but we are looking at playing a note B, and I will make sure that I have another video up about our assignment and how to do that assignment, and I will put that up in the weekly assignments page. All right, I hope that you guys have a great day. If you have any questions for me, please, 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 please feel free to email me at mporter@oregoncs.org, or you can class dojo me if you have any questions whatsoever, guys. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.